let me interrupt you. Sorry for being a couple of minutes late. This is Maher Chebbo. I was asked then to chair the event and then to moderate the panels. We've got Dimitri here, DAO.digital, who is connected somewhere. I think he's moving from a place to another place, so he's listening to us, but on mute. I would like to set up the format of this panel. It's going to be a quick round of introduction from every one of you, your name, what you're looking for, what are your activities, and then I will give the floor for everyone to speak 5 or 10 minutes. I will be asking questions as well, deeper about what you are looking for, your recommendations, if you are an investor, recommendation for the startups, and also the lessons learned from your activities. So this is going to be recorded, and then all the members on this club of DAO.digital will have the opportunity to look at that. And then once we have finished everyone's presentation and then me asking the questions, at the end we will open it for more interaction, and then from what you heard from the others, and you will then feel free to ask also your questions to the other speakers. People who will see the recording, they will see your picture here, your names, but maybe a lot of things that are said could not be captured. This is why we said, let's open the chat window. There you will put a link to your whatever profile, your email, things you would like people to have a deeper look at and provide their link address. And with that, when people will come to see the recording, they will have the full picture. Does it make sense?
Sure.
Yep, perfect sense.
I will start by introducing myself. So my name is Maher Chebbo, 30 years of experience in companies like Capgemini, 21 years at SAP, and 3 years at GIOS. I'm sitting on different committees, chairing the governing board of REAP, which is looking at technology and energy transition based in Vienna. Myself, I'm based in Paris. I work a lot with the European Commission on the digitalization, where I'm advising them on the transition, how that can help mobility, energy transition, and so on, the digital technologies between now, 2020, 2030, 2050. And then I'm a frequent speaker as well in events on the technology, AI, machine learning, blockchain, and you name it. And I'm really happy to have this panel. I'm learning a lot from the speakers, and I'm really sure I'm going to learn a lot today also from your speeches. Next one would be Gary Zigmond.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at DigiCo Capital, which is a crypto hedge fund. And just a little bit about my background. I come from traditional finance, where I spent 3 decades managing portfolios and risk for some of the larger hedge funds. And I've been in the crypto space since mid-2017.
Okay. Next one.
Are we just going right to left? I'm happy to go next. My name is Joaquim Miro. I'm a former partner of JDA Capital, as well as a partner and shareholder of MLG Blockchain. Over the last 2 years, we've helped raise around $220 million for about 20 different clients. I've recently moved on to join into the VR space, where we are now building one of the world's first VR SaaS tools that allows for people to teleport into real world locations in order to meet together. So very interesting what you were mentioning, Maher, about the digitalization of the European Commission. Love to discuss that in more details. And so I'm happy to help go over any subjects related to how to raise money within the blockchain space, or within how to digitize and run remote work offices, since all of our companies have been remote with over 100 people working remotely around the world.
Good. So that's a good space. I got people who came to me with exactly what you said, and then interested to implement it. So I will be listening very much to what you will say. Maybe Alex next.
Sure. Hi everyone. My name is Alex Katsardos. I'm the CEO of a company called TopFX. TopFX is an investment firm specializing in CFD trading. In regards to my background, I've also been in the financial services industry for like 15, 20 years now. I started from trading in a fund. Then actually I moved to financial technology when I was a head of product development of a trading platform called CTrader. It's one of the biggest CFD trading platforms in the world. And after doing that, I joined TopFX. I was first a director, then I became a CEO. And in DAO, I'm going to do a presentation about 10 mistakes when investing in blockchain. But this kind of presentation is not going to be for institutional or professional investors. It's going to be mostly about retail investors, which is my expertise, because especially as a CEO of a firm that is doing both retail and institutional, I've seen a lot of retail investors. I know what they're doing wrong most of the time. So it's going to be a nice short presentation about what to avoid when investing in blockchain.
Excellent. You're based in Greece?
I'm based in Cyprus. I'm Greek myself, but the company is in Cyprus.
Okay. I'm native from Lebanon, your neighbor actually, but I'm based in Paris.
Right. Lebanon is very close, yes.
Then Daryl.
Okay, my name is Daryl Naidoo. I'm based in South Africa. I currently run a digital asset holding company called Promethean Dynamics. I'm also the chief marketing officer of a project called Skybit. That's a Myanmar-based digital asset exchange. I'm a member of the Blockchain Advisory Council, the Association of Blockchain Professionals, the African Blockchain Association. I share a bench expert, and I also contribute content for business.com for crypto and blockchain related content. Also a certified blockchain solutions architect with the Blockchain Training Alliance. My topic for today will be discussing successful IEOs over the last year or so. Yeah, I guess that's me.
Okay. Then Sadia.
Yeah. Hi, this is Sadia Bruce. I am basically not working with any project right now because I'm pursuing my PhD degree, and I'm based in Malaga right now. And it's just like I'm sorry.
Where are you based? Sorry.
I'm in Spain.
Okay.
Yeah. So pursuing my PhD degree, and then I just dropped like a few of the projects that I've been working on. My specialty is in communications, investor relations, and digital marketing. And previously I was based in Russia, and now I'm here. I mostly work as a freelancer, like advising the blockchain startups on how they can get the investments and how they can approach the right targeted audience for their product. And that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Good. So let's start then from Gary again here. As I said, yeah, if you can take 5-10 minutes, go deeper in your presentation about your activities and what you are looking for. And if you have some recommendations for the people who would like to deal with you, please, provide that. And then I will, as you speak, I will be asking you questions.
Sure. Well, so my fund really focuses on managing crypto volatility. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Was since volatility, in the asset class is much.
I found that there are people who joined as well. Alina, Trigub. You want to introduce yourself, Alina?
Yes, hi Maher. Hi everyone, my name is Alina Trigub. It looks like an interesting group. So I'm not in the Wall Street space, I'm actually in the commercial real estate space. We're a boutique private equity firm, have been specializing in acquiring value-add commercial apartment complexes as well as mobile home parks and self-storages. Until recently, until the COVID-19 has hit the world. I'm in United States on the East Coast. Things are evolving pretty quickly here, but as far as real estate activities, they, for us, at least for our firm, they have slowed down significantly. So we're in observe and watch mode for now.
Okay, thank you for that. Dimitri, I know you're moving here, maybe in a noisy place, but if you wish to introduce yourself now, let me know. Otherwise, stay on mute and then we can do it later on. I will give you 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay, I'm here, so I'm driving car right now. So I'm glad to see you here. So I'm the founder of DAO.digital, and I'm really glad to see you here. So actually, we're building the platform that connects people around the globe. So the first thing is to connect each other, to understand who is best in which area. And then we provide the platform that helps us to share the resources. So actually, we're building the pretty big project, and you're going to be the part of it. So actually, we're building the platform just for everyone who joins us as a speaker, who would like to introduce yourself, who would like to share resources, experiences, and etc. So we're building the first media, DAO.digital media for that shares the technology and the how to deal in the new world right now. The other part is the academy, where we could share our experience, knowledge, and etc. And the third part is the marketplace, where everyone could place your offers and sell your services and products and whatever you want. So actually, we're building the community, and I'm really glad to see you here. So thank you very much. So unfortunately, I'm driving right now, have to move, but I will be here on mute. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So Gary, sorry for interrupting you, but now I'm sure I have covered everyone who joined even after we started. So the floor is yours again.
No worries. So my attraction to crypto is really the volatility, and since the asset class is much more volatile than any other asset class, it really takes a concerted effort to manage it if you don't want to live with the roller coaster ride that, say, a hodler has to live with, where you have great years like 2017 where you're up 1,300%, or even last year up over 90%, but then you have bad years where you lose 75% in 2018. So our fund really takes a professional risk management approach to mitigating that volatility. So long term, you can just compound much quicker. And I can offer some tips later on as to some simple ways for even the retail investor how to participate in the upside of the volatility without giving back too much when there are massive corrections. So as we go around, I can perhaps offer up some pieces of advice later in the discussion.
Okay, and then who are your partners or the other businesses that you work with?
So we're just purely a trading firm. So my background is actively managed for hedge funds. So we're a hedge fund that just trades the coins. So we trade Bitcoin and Ether, just because those are a reflection of the market. I look at, there are 2,000 coins out there, but a lot of them won't be around next year or even next week. So we're more interested in, like I said, monetizing volatility, harnessing volatility, and that's through trading the market. And I've set up, it's a systematic approach where I have a huge database of different data across the ecosystem that helps us determine positions we want to take, in Bitcoin or Ether, and it adjusts every day. So we're not looking at charts, we're not day trading. It's systematic data that's helping us determine the investor's appetite for risk in the ecosystem. I kind of look at it like Bitcoin is similar to the S&P 500. It's your de facto market, and then Ether is more like the NASDAQ or the Russell, the beta version, or it's the altcoin proxy. So that's how we manage our portfolio, is trading those two coins through multiple strategies that take small amounts of exposure, long or short.
How is the
risk.
How is the market? Is it active? I see here on your profile, this is an activity started in 2017, right? In cryptocurrency and so on. Is the market active here? Do you find enough volume? Do you find good opportunities?
So we're based in the United States. So we deal with the U.S. exchanges, which are highly regulated. But yes, there's enough volume, certainly for Bitcoin and Ether, and that's one of the reasons why we only trade those two coins, is because we need liquidity, because we are active enough where we're potentially buying and selling every few days. So yes, you need liquidity, and I know you've heard about all the fake volumes and everything. Those are typically the altcoins and the lower tier exchanges. But with Bitcoin, you're seeing billions of dollars trading every day, and Ether's maybe a quarter the size of Bitcoin, and then it drops down dramatically from there.
Okay, what's the impact of COVID on these trading activities, Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, the initial one was just a risk off for every market. In equities, you saw it was so. Even though Bitcoin is relatively uncorrelated to the rest of the other assets, when there's a risk off environment, everybody sells. So that's why you saw Bitcoin drop. I think it was on March 12th, that Thursday. It dropped 40%, and so did most of the altcoins, because it's just your gut reaction that there was a lot of uncertainty in any market. So it sold off, and then it recovered since. It's still unrelated. It's still a bit of a gambling casino until blockchain and crypto is part of our economy and everyday lives. It's getting closer. It's still early stages though.
Okay. Well, what's your recommendation to the other people who are trading with Bitcoin on different markets? I know you are in New York or the US, but where should the people be careful with when they are trading with something like that?
Well, I mean, you have risk for any exchange. There's risk that they can get hacked. They're just honeypots for everybody. So there's no guarantee. I mean, we as fiduciaries, we have third-party custodians. So we try to limit any exposure either to an exchange or to an OTC desk, OTC broker, where once we settle the trade, it gets delivered to a custodian. So it's a professional safekeeper is what custodians do. But for your retail, your average investor, you don't want to leave it on the exchange. You don't want to leave your coins on the exchange. If you need to put it in a Trezor or a Ledger or a safer place than just a public exchange, because the weakest link is typically the exchange and how they save customer data. No different than companies, large Fortune 500 companies that get hacked every day and lose, customer data.
Yeah, you have been in the private equity business, right, before?
No, not private equity, just public equity, trading.
Public equity, okay.
Yes.
And then between, equity, taking an equity or investing somewhere and trading, what is the plus? What do you, I mean, that goes fast. Trading is real time. You have to be there at the right time and do it. And then you can make big wins if you do it properly and you get used to that. So that versus equity in general, or even venture investments, where do you see the plus and minus?
Okay, I see crypto right now. The crypto market is very similar to early stage venture capital investing, because you don't have you have a lot of use cases that haven't been proven. You don't have adoption. So that's why you have so much volatility, because it's basically you're betting on stories. You don't have consistent revenue streams. Even Bitcoin, it's fluctuated in its life from transactional, cryptocurrency to now it's everybody views it as more of a store of value, a digital gold. So and that's the challenge, and that's why our firm, we purely focus on the trading side, because The other piece about, investing in some of these altcoins is really more of a venture capital approach where you believe in the story and a lot of things have to go right for that to pan out. So it is like early stage investing in companies, which is not my skill set. My skill set is more the trading, managing the markets, trading the markets. So that's why we only deal with the larger coins that are established.
Okay, but when do you predict that you will come back to the same level as before COVID?
Well, we're there pretty much now for crypto. We're there. I mean, COVID. If you want to talk about like equity markets and traditional markets, there's way too much uncertainty. I'm still sitting at my home in Connecticut under lockdown, so it's far from normal. So until we get back to normalcy, then it's difficult for any investment. I wouldn't preach putting any new capital to work in anything, even your traditional stocks, because we really don't know. Even though all the governments have thrown support, the central banks have thrown support to keep the markets from collapsing, there's just still too much uncertainty and unknowns as to how our new normal becomes.
Okay, great, thank you. So let me jump to Joaquim. Tell us more about the VR space and the things you presented.
Awesome. Yeah. So there's two major subjects that I'd love to discuss. So the one of them is for sure the VR space as well. But first, just while we're on the subject of blockchain and crypto, I think that as Gary mentioned, right now, of course, there's a lot of volatility in the market. I think that also a lot has to do with the fact that the market is very thin. If you compare it to the sheer size of the stock market, it just makes absolutely no sense just how much smaller it is, and that's why it's a lot easier to have certain whales move the needle a lot more. So definitely agree that right now it's in like the starting stages, although we have seen a lot more maturity within the industry versus where it was like, let's say 3 years ago or during the extreme boom in 2017. And since then, like the way that we were helping companies raise during that time with MLG and then with GDA, Global Digital Assets, essentially has changed a lot, where rather than focusing on the public in order to raise, it's been really focused towards the same concept as VCs, where you'll have private investment come in. And so my recommendation to any company that is starting within the crypto or blockchain space, or if you are an existing company that is looking to come into the space, would be that it is very important to go about the regular funding route in a respect that you'd go for private funders first and get a large enough amount of money on that side, and then you can have a much smaller raise on the public side, fueling that from the fact that you've already raised on the private side. In order to make that happen properly, then it's really important to have a brand and to have a community, because as opposed to a stock, most of the cryptos, whether we talk only about BTC and ETH, which are more like transactional or fuel-based coins, versus having a coin that is part of a network. If we look at, for example, Brave, the whole Brave network, or many of the other token ecosystems that really utilize the coins in a day-to-day fashion, then for a lot of those coins, every person that then owns the coin becomes also an ambassador towards the project. And so instead of having just a few investors that are the main ambassadors of your project, as you would see in a regular space, by choosing to go the blockchain route, you have an opportunity to have hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of ambassadors to your project that are also going to continue to push your project forward. A good example of that would be, for example, Uptrend, which is a platform similar to Steemit and Reddit, which is like essentially like the social media platform where they use their coins for that manner. So just always important to keep that in mind. And if you have any other questions related to how to raise, then I invite you to reach out to the Blockchain Digital Asset team, and they can definitely help you, as well with on-ramps and off-ramps, whether it's just for BTC and ETH or some of the lesser known coins. So I don't know if there are any questions on that front, and then I can move towards the VR space as well.
That's fine. I think this experience have been for you like helpful when you are speaking about new businesses like this, teleporting VR stuff and so on, right? So these are the lessons learned. So you gather some experience, you see what the world of the startups is and so on, and then you use it when you create yourself as a founding partner, you create a new business, correct?
Yes, exactly. So I mean, I've always been founding partner with the businesses that I work with, and I really saw that right now we're in the process of moving towards a trend that is that is very focused on remote work, and this pandemic obviously has accelerated that tremendously. But in any case, I mean, I find that more and more we're looking at screens more time in the day than we're not, and that having interactions like the ones that we're having right now are becoming more and more smooth and easy to do, even if you don't necessarily meet the person in reality. So on one hand, this allows for us to connect a lot more, but on the other hand, we're seeing a very large increase in the amount of loneliness that we're seeing around the world. Right now, for example, in North America, 30% of people actually live in single person households. So what we saw with Hopin, the new technology that allows people to come together in real world spaces with multi-user VR, was essentially to solve that problem, where we could immerse people into an environment that would also give them the curiosity to leave their house and go and see interesting things around the world. Since then, we've also seen, and that was like focused on the user side, but what we've seen is that on the B2B side, especially right now with closed borders, whenever there is, whenever there's a use case where you would usually fly someone to come see, whether it's a property, a mine, a manufacturing plant, a pharmaceutical lab, or any other use case in which you would have to physically go and meet someone that would then give you a tour or sell you a certain location, experience, or product. Well, now you can do that completely virtually as long as both people have headsets. So it's been a really, really interesting last few months where we're seeing an amazing increase in demand and interest. And we think that regardless, because of where the technology is going, and as people become more and more comfortable to digitize, then that becomes something that will be more and more in demand.
So what are the use cases that are leveraging heavily VR for bringing people together in and you mentioned the travel sector or vertical. So these use cases, so what are these use cases? Second is, did you develop them into kind of an MVP product today? And is that available on a browser where people can go and then say, look, you know, I'm a B2B business and I would like to buy the service?
Yes, so we're 100% in operation. We have clients, and our users have been growing 50% week over week on average for the last 20 weeks. We came onto the Oculus Go store in November. The application is actually free on the user side. So anyone who has a Oculus Go headset can go and download the application, and then they can meet with their friends, family, potential clients, anyone that they want within the application in really cool places. So for example, us, instead of speaking right now on this Zoom call, if we all had a headset, we could go and meet on a beach in Portugal or in front of the Eiffel Tower or in any location that is within this application. So there's very, very interesting use cases on the B2B side right now, and we do have clients that we're piloting with right now for this, where, for example, you can go and have a client that's in New York, or by client, I mean a potential investor that's in New York, and you are a commercial broker in the UK, and you want to sell a hotel that is in Thailand. Well, then you can just send a headset to the potential investor in New York instead of both having to fly to see the place in Thailand. So it really allows you to be physically present within these areas, since we harness the power of 360 video as well as multi-user VR. And right now, this is actually a patent pending technology that we are in the process of patenting. And yeah, we're super excited because on one hand, yes, of course, it requires for people to have the headsets, because I understood that you mentioned the browser. We could also, of course, have it on a browser just as a 360 video, but in the end, this is still what we see as 2D. The idea here is that you bring people into the area with you, you're fully immersed, and you are giving them a guided tour of it. So it's really there that we find there's an interesting opportunity and essentially a new level of B2B sales.
So users need to buy this accessory that they put on their eyes, right?
Yeah, so right now we're available on the Go, which is around 150 USD. So we decided to go with that for two main reasons. The first one being that being now connected to Facebook, it allows for a lot more users and visibility much more quickly, as well as the social engine. And then secondly is because it's very affordable, all the while being a very reliable tool. So let's say instead of flying an investor or for example, a surveyor, if you're an insurance company or an engineering firm that needs to go to a certain mine or certain manufacturing plant, the cost of having to fly there, stay at a hotel, maybe like security, depending on the region around the world, all of that would amount to a lot more money and time than it would to just buy a headset for them. And then after that, they're a client long-term. So we see that while it is a barrier because it requires for people to try technology they haven't tried before, once they do try it, the large majority end up wanting to use it again, as it saves a lot of time and money. And in cases makes money. And then another part of your question or something that you mentioned is how exactly does this work on the tourism side? So this is the main goal of the application in the first place, other than B2B, was really on this B2C side, where already today, if you go and you just download this application, you're directly in it, and you can go and travel around the world with friends, family, clients, what have you. But the interesting part here is, like, for example, let's say that you're an art gallery, a museum, a zoo, an aquarium, what have you around the world, then all of these places could go onto, or even a historical building, for example, you could go and have all the information directly within that in order to have an immersive tour. And you could have like a tour guide or a virtual tour guide that is there answering everyone's question as well. So you really have that same feeling as being there in person, although without having any of like the time, mobility, or money constraints that would generally come. And then if it's something that you really enjoy, so for example, if you're not someone that really goes to museums very much, maybe by going to the Louvre in this headset, which we don't have at the moment, but would be great to have at some point, then maybe it will entice you to want to go when you do go to France the next time, or to Paris. So that's the whole concept and idea behind it.
How many users do you have registered on your platform?
So since we came on the store, we're still in early access. We already have a few thousand users. No marketing or any type of promotion has gone out. It's completely word of mouth. And then on the B2B side, we're up to around 5 clients, and with new ones closing pretty much every week at this point.
Okay, and these clients actually, they pay as you go, or what's the model? Is they pay upfront, and then depending on the transactions and depending on the number of users? Do you have also advertisement revenues?
It is the plan to implement them at some point. Right now, it's a mix of everything you mentioned. I'm happy to discuss that in more detail if there's
okay,
interest.
Very good. But you believe in this? It's a growing week on week. You said 50%?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a good business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see, but I mean, the way that we've done it and the way that we brought it together, yeah, it's we're seeing some interest right now with the pandemic.
How much did you raise funds for that, or did you do it out of your investment?
Right now, it's purely out of the three partners, and we do plan on raising a seed round over the summer. If you're interested, then I'd love to get in contact. We're going to open up the round probably next month. Okay.
Sorry, where are you based? Can you repeat that again?
The company is based in Montreal, but we are remote first. It's very important for me, and we have to drink our own Kool-Aid. So actually right now that we have about 15 people that are on 5 continents. So it's very, we wanted the team to be very diverse in that respect. But the actual headquarters is in Montreal, Canada. I'm actually right now speaking to you from northern Spain. So I'm in Catalonia, close to Girona.
Okay. And in the Quebec region and Montreal, they give a lot of support for AI and data science specialists or technology specialists. So probably you got a good support from them, right?
Not yet, but we're in talks to do so, yes.
Okay, good. So let me jump to the next one. Before that, I saw Kathy Aronson who joined. We have the best session here in terms of gender, actually. We never had that ratio. It's never 50-50%, but it's much better than the other ones. So Kathy, if you can introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And I would like to say just what I was doing.
Can you speak louder?
Yes.
Or closer to the mic?
What's the quality of the sound? Can you hear?
It's a bit lower than the others. You need to speak closer to the mic.
Okay. Right now is good. I just not really.
You need to feel like you hate us and you want to cry on us, then scream and so on, so then we can hear you well.
Okay. So basically, I'm a consultant in this space. I worked last 2 years with STOs and digital securities, and so it was quite a new field for everyone. So all the last year I got experience with that. Was working with one STO launchpad and crypto exchange called CG6, and we had few clients as well. The projects that we were doing, the STOs, was doing investor relation for that. This year I joined another STO platform based in Abu Dhabi, and basically I'm improving all my knowledge, and it was my dream basically to arrange this marriage of finance and technology, even long time ago before crypto was legal. Yes. Also, I'm involved as business development and marketing in few projects which are quite interesting, and one of them is Freedom, where users get rewarded for body activity with sort of tokens and cryptocurrency. And basically, this is a new paradigm where we try to create our new digital economy, where people can and businesses can exchange something what they take as value, these fast steps as we call. And I have also my startup, the VR social entertainment platform as well, but this is very early stage. I will tell about this next time.
Okay, good, thank you. Well, you are now in Abu Dhabi. You moved to Abu Dhabi. Where do you come from? I'm
now in London. I was traveling last 2 years. I was in Asia, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, worked out of there mostly. And now I came back to London, to Europe.
Okay, thank you. So let me go, just a reminder, you don't, later actually, is we have a chat window. Please use it to put any information that could be useful for the people who will view this recording. Your email, for example, link profile to LinkedIn, any other useful information. If you have like started just early stage startup and you need to provide some information about it or to promote it, please put it there as well.
Cool.
Thank you. So let me jump to Alex.
Sure, I'm ready. Let me talk about my topic. Actually, yes. my topic is titled 10 mistakes investing in blockchain. So it's a list of mistakes. And I'm going to talk about, mostly they're going to be centered around retail investors, people who are looking to invest in blockchain, to buy a couple of cryptocurrencies who don't know what they're doing. And it's a pretty straightforward list, but it's really, really important. This list comes from my experience being the CEO of an investment firm that provides also both institutional and retail investments. We've seen a lot. We know why retail investors lose. We know what happens, what they need to be more careful of. So let's just go through the list. It's 10 mistakes. The 5 first mistakes are more generic mistakes about investing in general. because they have to be mentioned. And the 5 in the end are more crypto-specific mistakes. And on top of the list, I can talk if you want about the difference between investing in cryptocurrency and investing in crypto or trading with crypto CFDs, because this is something I'm also an expert. I'm pretty sure that people are interested in that, so I can talk about that in the end.
Please, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So first mistake from the general mistakes, it's the biggest mistakes that retail investors are doing. They're actually risking more than they can afford to lose. When you risk more than you can afford to lose, when you're trading large amounts, when you trade your entire life savings, or when you're trading or investing, 10 years worth of working day in and day out, you will not be able to do well, because in a market like blockchain, which is so volatile, you're just not going to be able to take it psychologically. No person on this planet can take it if you're just putting all of your life into one trade. So you need to be very careful about investing and trading funds that you can afford to lose, that will not affect you psychologically. Second, I'm going to go through this list like fast, okay? It's about being too emotional when you're trading or investing. It's about having a lot of greed, a lot of fear of missing out. These are the biggest emotions that affect traders. Greed is about not being able to take your profits. You make some money, but you keep on going at it. At some point, your investments don't go well. Fear of missing out is the market is going up. Cryptocurrencies is happening a lot. And you're waiting for the market to retrace so that you can get in, and it's going up and up and up and up. And at some point, you cannot take it anymore. You cannot just miss forever. So you put your money in the market. And that's how people bought Bitcoin at $20,000. And they bought in the .com bubble, etc., etc. I won't go into that. Third mistake, people don't have an actual strategy or a plan when they're investing. They don't know what they're doing actually. Are they investing? Everybody you're going to ask, they're going to tell you, yeah, I'm into it for 10 years. I'm backing the company or whatever. But when things get harder, they sell out their positions immediately or whatever. So you need to know: are you trading? Are you investing? What are you trying to accomplish? What is the edge that you have? What is your trading plan? You need to have one before you get in. If you don't have one, if you don't have a trading plan and you're sure about it, don't even go there. Don't invest on any market, not just crypto. Fourth mistake, there is no diversification. No matter, people need to understand that it doesn't matter what they're trading into. Even if you trade the most popular stock or the biggest company in the world, anything can happen in the world. Like a plane crashes. I don't know, the board of directors go down, stock falls like 70% the next day. So you need to be diversified. There is a lot of research on diversification, and the research has proven that you don't need to be diversified in hundreds and hundreds of instruments. Even 10 different instruments can give you the diversification that you need to avoid wiping out your account. 5 is a good starting point. 10 is like perfection. You don't need to go more than that, but obviously you're welcome to go more if you want. Last mistake on the general mistakes is people are trying to time the market. History has proven that the market is like extremely difficult to time the market. No one knows what's happening in big markets, either the stock market or the crypto market. When I'm saying about what's happening, I mean what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen this week. This is timing the market. It's very difficult to know how the market is going to react to anything. So you need to have a more long-term investing approach. Now, those are like very, very important investment mistakes that people are making in general. Moving on to the cryptocurrency specific mistakes that people are doing. People are getting into blockchain and cryptocurrencies without understanding the technology. So they don't really, I don't know if you're hearing the alarm here. So maybe I'll wait for that to, all right. So they don't understand the technology. So it's before you get into the whole crypto thing, take a moment to just read what is blockchain, why is it so beneficial, why is the world changing, what are cryptocurrencies trying to do, about the banking system and the new way of doing things. how do they work, what is a wallet, what is the difference of keeping your cryptocurrency in your wallet or the exchange, what is, you know, a ledger and how do you use it, this basic stuff. You need to understand the technology because cryptocurrencies are very, very, it's still very early for cryptocurrencies. Like we heard before, it's a fairly new concept, and it's not, they haven't matured yet. The exchanges are not regulated yet. There is a so where I'm getting at is that it's a lot harder to invest in cryptocurrencies than just go to the stock market or something that has been around for, you know, 150 years, and you know what to expect. You know how to deposit your funds. You know how to find regulated brokers. You know how to take your profits and everything. With crypto, it's not that simple. Second, crypto-specific mistakes. People need to protect, the investors need to protect themselves from hacking, like it was mentioned previously. You protect your investments by securing them in a ledger or by having them in cold storage. You need to read, find out what cold storage is and how do you protect yourself. Most of the people who ever lost money in crypto like that were they lost it because the exchange was hacked. So you really don't need, you shouldn't be keeping funds in the exchange, and certainly not all of your funds. So you need to find about cold storage and about ledgers and how to use these products. Third crypto-specific mistake is you're going to invest in some cryptocurrency, especially look. There are thousands and thousands of cryptocurrencies now, and okay, everybody knows that 80% of them, if not 90% of them, will not exist in 5 years from now. But still, you know, people get into the fad, they read forums, some friend or a friend says something and you're trying to get into it. That's okay. It's like, you really are like a venture capitalist looking into something new and, you know, putting a small bet to make a big profit out of it. Make sure to read the white paper. Make sure to do your research, at least know what you're getting into very well, because if you read the white paper, if you really believe in this crypto, that the blockchain product that you're investing, it's also going to help you psychologically more than everything else, because every swing of the market is not going to drive you crazy. You know why you bought this particular blockchain, why you invested, so you're going to stay put and you're not going to be swinging with the markets. Fourth mistake is buying into all the fad. Like I said, crypto exchanges are not, generally cryptocurrencies are not regulated investment instruments, so everybody can say whatever he wants. Okay, maybe in the United States it's a bit more strict and people, you know, FCC and whatever, but all around the world, the rest of the world, everybody can just tweet whatever they want, they can post on forums whatever they want, they can, you know, there is a lot of fad out there, there's a lot of fake stuff. No cryptocurrency has the reporting obligations. All the numbers that you see might be fake. It's really difficult. So be very careful when buying into the fad. Do your research and cross-reference your research before you invest. And the last mistake when people are investing in crypto is they don't understand the asset. There are, you know, let's talk about coins, for example. Coins are not really, they're not stocks. Coins do not give you ownership in something. They do not give you dividends in something. Just because you bought, for example, I don't know, Ripple or whatever, it doesn't mean that the Ripple company belongs to you or a part of it belongs to you or whatever. Coins are just the storage of value most of the time, and you're trying to buy into a new storage of value that you think will appreciate. Like you think that in the future it's going to be used a lot more, and people are going to will want to buy it more, so the price is going to become larger, and you're going to make some extra money. So it's really important to know what you're getting into. So those are the 10 mistakes. Obviously, when I do my presentation, I can get into more depth into each of the mistakes. And lastly, like I said, a small note when talking about CFD crypto investing and real crypto investing. Our business is in CFDs, and I don't want to promote CFDs and say, okay, don't invest in real crypto, go to CFDs. It's not like that. I honestly think that if you really want to back a crypto project, if you really want to back it up and you're not into speculation, you're not there to just make money, but you really believe in it, you should definitely go real crypto and go buy real cryptocurrency or invest into that blockchain with real crypto. However, if you're a speculator and you're into trading, CFDs can give you a lot of benefits that cryptocurrencies cannot give you. Like, for example, CFD companies are regulated, your funds are segregated in banks, so you cannot get hacked and lose them or whatever. Another big mistake is that you can actually, if you make profits, it's going to be very easy for you to turn your profits back to fiat. Whereas with cryptocurrencies, I don't know about the rest of the world, but for example, in Europe, it's really difficult if you have big amounts of crypto profits. First of all, there is a tax authorities that are going to come after you about money laundering or whatever. Then there is your bank is not going to refuse to credit your profits or convert your cryptocurrency to your account. They're going to close your account. These problems don't exist in CFD companies. So if you find a good regulated CFD company, you can speculate in cryptocurrencies. And if you make profits, you're not going to have any problems with that. Also, there is no problem, there is no need to understand the technology because when you're not really buying any real crypto, you don't have to understand what's a ledger, cold storage, and how the blockchain works, and what do I do, what's my wallet, and how do I use my wallet. There's nothing like that. It's like having any brokerage account. You deposit funds, you find the cryptocurrencies that you're interested in speculating, you buy and sell them, and all your account is in your base currencies, in Euro or USD or whatever. I guess that's it. I mean, it's a lot.
I would like to come back to one of the mistakes, which is spending or taking risk more than they can afford. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you say more about it? It's like what kind of amounts you have seen?
Sure.
For example.
Sure. I will go back to the example that I gave. I mean, the thing is, first of all, every person is different. No one knows yourself more than you know yourself. So let's say, I'll give some examples. Let's say that you are making like 50,000 euros a year and you have, after 10 years of savings, you have 100,000 euros in the bank or $100,000. And you're like, okay, this money needs to work for me, so I'm going to put this 100,000 in Bitcoin. And you do the process, you buy Bitcoin, next day Bitcoin minus 20%. In 4 hours, your 100,000 are 80,000. You lost 20,000. You lost 2 years of your life. I guarantee you, there is no retail investor that can take that. No one. Everybody's not going to be able to sleep. Everybody's going to cry in his bed. Most people are going to close their position, or they're going to go insane, or they're going to have problems, psychological problems. They're going to have problems with their family, with everything. So you need to find what is the amount of volatility that you can take in daily swings. So think of the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin will change 30% in a day. Okay, it's not even the worst case, but let's say that it's something highly unlikely, but it happens once per 3 months, per 6 months, there is a 30% swing. So if you lose that 30% in one day, will you be able to take it and continue your trading strategy, continue your investment plan? It's really important that you don't back out of your investment plan. So if you're like, if you have a heart of stone and you're going to lose 30,000 of your 100,000 in 3 hours, and you can take it and you don't care, sure, then you can afford, then you can take the risk, go for it. But most people cannot. So I would say that personally, if I had like 100,000 in the bank and I wanted to invest some of it in crypto, I would invest 20% of it at most. Because if I invest 20,000 and there is a huge swing and I lose 2,000 in one day, okay, I'm not going to be happy, but it's not the end of the world also. Like, okay, I have 98 left. Even if I keep on losing and I lose half of my investment, I'm going to lose 10,000. I have 90,000 left. I will be able to, I don't know if I'm going to be okay or not, but I will be able to take it. I'm going to be able to continue my investment plan. That's what's important. So I guess that's a good explanation, right?
Thank you. That's really exciting. You seem to have a long experience in this. How many years actually did you observe these mistakes and so on? And what you said?
Look, I've been in the investment business for over 15 years, even though I'm not very old, but still, it's been a long time. Since I started when I was a university student. There was in Greece in 2000. It was the same as the dot-com bubble. It was going crazy. The stock market was going crazy, and everybody was getting into the stock market. At that point, I understood that this is something that I'm very excited about, and I got a job into. Of course, I wasn't doing anything major. I was like just being a part of it by helping people around or whatever. But that's where I got in. After I finished my education, like 5 years later, then I really started my career. This is where the 15 years started to come from. I started in a hedge fund, not a hedge fund, more like a fund, but it was a high risk fund. So I saw a lot of this stuff on the high risk fund. Even professional traders, when they're don't think that they're like trading other people's money is easier. They are able to sleep at night, but still there is a lot of anxiety there. People, it's very easy to have white hair at 35 years old also. After that, I built a trading platform. The trading platform, I had a lot of statistics that I saw, because we have to have statistics for how our platform operates, and we have statistics about a lot of brokers around the world, and we see patterns, we see how people behave, what they're doing, and you can understand the mistakes that I mentioned. You can understand from looking at the patterns of people trading. When you see the trading, you're going to understand all of this stuff that I told you about. You're going to understand. And when you see lots of volatility, lots of swings, people are mostly losing money. And obviously, I've been the CEO of TopFX for 7 years now. Well, now we have, I'm looking at our clients daily. I'm looking at from anyone from small retail investor to a huge retail investor having investments of 500,000 or 1 million or 2 million, or even institutional investors with even a lot more than 1 or 2 million. So obviously, we also have to monitor everything. We have to monitor our company's risk. We have to monitor the client's accounts. We have to report to regulators. So it's really this. I've seen that for years and years now. So
you've got the question on the chat from Gary Zigmond. Which coins does your firm create CFDs on? I'm assuming that BTC and ETH are easy to create. Would you like to answer maybe on the chat, or?
Because I'm on mobile, I cannot see the chat at the moment. So can you repeat the question? Sorry, I didn't hear clearly.
It's on the chat. Well, can I ask you to answer on the chat the question from Gary, and then we can jump to the speaker?
I will answer later when we move to the next person. I'm going to answer the question.
Okay, thank you. So Daryl, can I give you the floor 5 minutes?
Sure. Okay. So basically, like I said earlier, my topic was about successful IEOs over the past year or so. I think it's important to mention that since about 2017, the market has evolved considerably. It's no longer a wild west like it used to be. Investors have become a lot more cautious, and they actually conduct proper due diligence on projects before investing. Of course, it doesn't stop projects from trying their luck, and I myself have lost a considerable amount of money on 2 projects last year. The good thing is that these projects, most of these projects these days need a lot more than just a good-looking website and a well-worded white paper. Investors want to see a lot more than that these days. So I've handpicked a few projects that have done exceptionally well over the last year. And by this, I mean, not only were they able to conduct a successful IEO or ICO, but they also went ahead and continued with development and implementation as they laid out on their white papers and their roadmaps. So first up, we've got the BitTorrent IEO. As I'm sure most of you already know, BitTorrent is a peer-to-peer file sharing platform. They currently have over 100 million active users per month. This IEO was done on the Binance Launchpad. They launched on the end of the IEO on the 28th of January, 2019. Total amount raised was $7.2 million. In 2018, BitTorrent was acquired by Tron. So they basically built the BTT token on the TRC10 protocol running on the Tron blockchain. Okay, so the idea of the project is basically to incentivize participants for contributing on the platform, and this is obviously to enhance file sharing, which would obviously lead to faster downloads, more seeders, and longer seeding periods. Another project that did quite well is the Matic project, also launched on the Binance Launchpad. Matic basically creates scalability for the Ethereum blockchain. They solve the problem of slow block configurations and high gas fees. This is done by creating a sidechain almost, or basically a sidechain, yes, but using the POS, using a POS sidechain, almost like a tree. So at the moment, the single Matic chain can process about 65,000 transactions. When they incorporate the POS sidechain, you're looking at about a few million transactions per second, which is a huge development. Ideally, they're focusing on creating dApps as well and integrating dApps onto the platform. They raised a total of about $5 million, and their IEO ended in April the 25th, 2019. Another project I'd like to highlight is My TV Chain. They basically the first web-based TV platform that dedicated themselves to sports clubs and athletic clubs. So what these guys can do is they can basically create their own TV stations on the My TV Chain platform, and they can obviously promote this to the communities. At the moment, they've got about 40,000 users and over 1 million users per month on their platform. The total raise was about $2 million, and they ended off their IEO in April 25th. They currently listed on B2B Exchange, Windex, and LAT. Yeah, I think that's about it from my side. We can move on with any questions you guys have, or
yeah. How is the market? You are based in South Africa, right? How dynamic is the market?
Well, fortunately, South Africa, compared to other countries, we actually do have a fairly large crypto community. When I say large, obviously it's not as large as it should be or as large as it could be, but the crypto community is quite active here. Mainly, I'd say more focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum. As far as altcoins are concerned, the market is still developing. People are still learning about blockchain, learning about the potential of blockchain and what it can actually do. So the market is growing at a very, very fast pace. So I think the potential in South Africa at the moment is phenomenal.
Perfect. Any hot comments here before we move to the next speakers? Thank you. So we'll come back to you as well at the end. Thanks, Daryl. Let me get to Sadia, I think, right? You are still here, and then Kathy.
Yeah. So the topic that I have chosen for the speaking was the investments evaluation and selection. Like I have always been working with several firms, and like I have an experience from past 4 years working with several firms, like from the blockchain perspective and from the investors perspective as well. So I just wanted to be very specific towards what kind of investments are there and what kind of investors wanted to invest in. We have stocks, we have cryptocurrencies, some would like to have in mutual funds, and I have never thought about investing in life insurance, but people do invest in it. And there is people invest in gold, and people invest in many other real estate and any others. So whatever the investment would be, what is going to be the criteria, what is going to be the selection perspective that the investor have in mind to evaluate certain certain industry to evaluate certain like any kind of like asset to invest in. So yeah, the next we are going to talk about like how to we identify what are going to be the right choices, and if people wanted to invest in more than one asset. So it depends like on how much the people wanted to invest in. So several investors I have came across, and they have the industries like they wanted to invest in real estate, they wanted to invest in IT, they wanted to invest in blockchain and AI, whatever they wanted to have it. Like they are quite specific and vast at the same time. So the one thing that I have think about while working with the investors, like some are like quite optimistic, but I do think that the investors need to be realistic, and they would know that if they are going to have like a win-win situation, or even if they wanted to have a win and lose situation. So both can be like work in the area of any asset. Either they wanted to invest in the stocks, or either they wanted to invest in any other industry. So there are like different parameters that they wanted to go through, like for the evaluation of the projects. Like I can talk about from the VCs. They mostly wanted to hear about the founding team, like what are the people behind the project and all these things. And then the second part is the technical expertise, like what are the technical spheres that they wanted to cover, and what they actually wanted to see. Like we see that many investors wanted to see MVP, that is like the minimum viable project that needed to be ready at the time of that they are pitching their project. So it is like the things that the investors need to see while they are evaluating and selecting a certain like the project or the company or any other like idea they wanted to invest in. So they will see the return on investments, and they will see the momentum in the market and the vision and the roadmap and everything that is included in the project. So there are like certain like matrix that they came across while working with the investments. So yeah.
Okay, great.
So we do like some kind of maths. It is like certain ratios that they work. Sorry.
Right.
Somebody asked a question.
I know you are advising blockchain startups, right?
Yeah.
If you have like, you know, 3 recommendations about mistakes they should avoid for the ones who will come and listen to you and so on, I would like to work with you as well. What are your top 3 recommendations?
Well, I could say that they needed to be specific towards what their project is about. The second thing is like they wanted to be very, very well known about their technical team, about their product that they are going to do. And the third thing that I would say that how they are going to manage their funds. Even if they are wanted to have like, let's suppose they wanted to have like $20 million and like for first seed round or whatever the ICO if they are doing, and any other like IE or whatever they are, they should know that how much percentage will be divided into the team, how they are going to work, how much is it going to be the spend on the whole project, and what is going to be the roadmap for that. So these are like the basics that the project should tell to the investors to get their interest, to get to know that what are they going to invest in.
Okay, good. Look, I will come back to you. We still have one speaker, Kathy, and then I will open it for questions to each other. Kathy,
right, sure.
Would you like to take 5 minutes as well to speak about further about your introduction?
Yes. So I would prefer to speak about digital securities and digital assets, and our differences with fundraisings for STOs and maybe IOs, ICOs, as I've had mostly experience in this.
Okay.
There should be a question, or I just...
Oh, I mean, tell us a bit from the learnings from your experience, and what are you looking for on this platform? If the people would like to come to you on this DAO digital platform, what you are looking for, and then some recommendations about lessons learned and mistakes to avoid.
Okay, so basically there are security token offerings is a way to raise capital, alternatively to venture ways, and it is quite new thing, and it already get lots of interest and lots of doubts as well, because the market is obviously not ready, but there are serious players already, the STO launchpads, and basically what is possible for a company is to tokenize, raise capital for not diluting equity, but tokenizing a small percentage of, like, let's say 10% of your operating business, create a new company and issue tokens are equal like shares, and sell this to investors. And obviously, as it is our STO, not our ICO or IO, are I would say the more higher chances that this will be purely for institutional investors, is it will not go to retail investors sooner, and it will disrupt the way how brokers basically work now, selling securities, and it will definitely disrupt the way how companies are raising capital, because still ventures has many like pros and cons that to consider, and comparing to previous story of hype in fundraising via our utility tokens and ICOs, like obviously this gives our higher trust from investors. It gives our opportunity to, or for institutional investors to join, and for brokers to trade. But as I said, as market is not formed, the major question is liquidity, and who is going to be buying this security tokens when they will be traded. So there are many more questions, I would say, than answers today, but this is a big victory for cryptocurrency market in general, because we are in dialogue with our institutional, our investors, with funds, with governments, and with regulators, and today because of this, it basically allowed to put the question on a very high level with regulations and governments, and I personally.
Okay, so when you said that the ventures have many pros and cons to consider, you are talking about the traditional VC model, which could apply for other businesses. And here, when you are saying, be careful that VC model, which is used for other startups, when it comes to security token.
Yes. Sorry, I had some connection issues. So what I wanted to say is that I believe that today are the countries that will be first in regulation, or as regulators will prepare for our digital securities, and for the companies I would say are going STO way, they will be also one of the first who will take this market. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Can you say a few words about your early stage startup, social entertainment platform?
Yes. Basically, as you know, today we have a big urge for digitizing enterprises.
Yeah. Cannot hear you anymore. You are freezing somewhere here.
Yes. Sorry for this with my connections. So the platform is it's called Loop Universe. So it is a meta universe.
Yeah, I'm looking at that on you.
No, and at the moment, as I said, it's very early stage. I would prefer basically talking about a bit later about it.
Okay. Is it? Did you join when Joaquim was speaking, Joaquim Miro, about the teleporting VR virtual reality and so on? Did you hear him speaking about that? Is it in the same field? Anyway, okay. You don't want to say more. Let me open it.
Apologize. Yes, I apologize. I have my connection issues with computer.
No problem. So let me open it for the last 10 minutes for anyone to ask questions or to make comments openly. You can still do it by chat to the other speakers. Okay, so let me ask an open question then to all of you. This kind of platform here with what you are doing, everyone in, whether it's advising, whether it's trading, whether it's investing and so on. I mean, this platform DAO.digital that where Dimitri has been the entrepreneur to build it, does it make sense for your business, and what could be the outcome? Here we are having an exchange, you are listening to others and so on, but for the longer term, where would you see the benefit of such a platform? Anyone can speak, huh? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can try to answer that. To be perfectly honest, for now, as far as I understand, the only aspect of DAO that I know is the virtual conference, virtual conference is always a good thing, especially when it's 4 days with such diverse topics and everything. But I don't really know more about DAO.digital besides the digital conference. So probably no one else is answering because we also don't know more information about DAO.digital. But if we knew, we'll tell you.
Dimitri, can you say a few words about this and then help maybe?
Yeah, that would help. That would help a lot.
Yeah, let me try. I'm not sure that I'll have a really stable connection, but let me answer your question and tell a little bit about our platform. So basically, we're building a decentralized autonomous organization that helps experts, companies, startups get value from the digital world. So the first step that we're doing right now is hosting events. So as basically, it's everyone understands what is events and actually what is virtual event. So nowadays, so that would help us connect everyone, experts who is related to the investment area, startups and attendees, basically investors who is looking for the new information. So the next step is that we're building the media. So media is the website where we could host our all videos. So basically all these interviews, all the content that we produce during the event, and all the value that we provide. So we could host this on the event, on the media website. Next step is everyone who was speaking at the event and who was producing the content, so would have the special page on that media, so where you could list your services, products that you are selling, and any links that you would like to provide. So, and basically this platform could help you promote your services and get connected globally with other experts around the world. So this is the main point for the experts. So actually it would help us as experts get new customers, get new outreach, get new audience, and etc. So the two other parts of the DAO are academia. So academy is the place where we could put all our learnings, all the courses, all the content that would be valuable for other people to get know about. For example, if a new member of DAO don't know how to deal with Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, so the new course, online course, will help him to create new wallet, so exchange crypto and get paid for a few services, for example. The other point is the marketplace. So the marketplace is a place where all members of the decentralized autonomous organizational partners could sell their services. So basically we list all the offerings that we have here, and we could put the information about it and help, and the DAO would help sell this stuff to members who join us. So basically this is the main point that we're doing. So we're doing media, we're doing the e-learning platform for sharing experience, knowledge, and etc. with others, and we're building the marketplace, and all this is going to be built on the based on the decentralized autonomous organization. So this would be the platform, and the token holders actually would own this platform. So basically, in few words, that's what we are doing right now. So I would be really happy if you join our journey and help us building this. So for sure we'll share these tokens with anyone who is going to participate in this journey, because we are building this actually for ourselves. So no one in the world would build this, but if we unite with each other, basically we could build something interesting. Well, thank you.
So based on what you heard, do you think that there are other ideas also that could be included in this DAO platform? Does it make sense? This is something that probably as a one-stop shop for investors, startups, is probably unique, and maybe it could have a great value if there is like a big number, the community is huge on this. What do you think?
Can I talk? Yeah, sure. Well, you know, in the CFD industry, what DAO.digital is doing has been done like a long time ago, which is actually a great thing about crypto, is that even though the product is new and the technology is new and everything is brand new, the practices, it works on practices that have been existing on other industries for years and years. And what do I mean by that is in the CFD trading space, expos are a big part of this space, media channels are a big part of this space, guidance, investor guidance, guides, and learning is a big part of this space, and brokers advertising the services and comparing their spreads and everything is a big part of the space. So media, we call them media sites mostly, as I understand. Like, so media sites like DAO, there are some of them. I can name at least 10 that are very, they're doing very well. They're very profitable. They've been going on for 20 years now, and they're growing their profits every month. I'm pretty sure that the crypto space also needs this kind of media services. So because it's going to grow. It's definitely going to grow. We all know that. And now it's really small. We know that the capitalization of cryptos is like a 200 billion, which is nothing. And even that, this is another discussion. If someone can believe the capitalization that you see in CoinMarketCap or not, because it's not regulated, everyone can report whatever they want. So I'm pretty sure that it's even smaller than that. So it has a lot of room for growth. And if Dimitri and DAO is prepared and manages to get the attention of investors, of potential investors and people that are interested in crypto, he's going to do very well. And he's also going to provide a service to the rest of the vendors offering crypto services. So it sounds great, and it's something that most importantly, it has been proven to work in the past. So no one is rediscovering the wheel here. It's so my comment would be like that is mostly about execution. If you see how the successful sites in stock investing or in CFDs are doing what they're doing, how they manage to attract the audiences, do the same thing, offer the same high amount of quality, and you're going to do well.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Any other comments? Okay. So
well, yeah.
yes.
I wanted to share like my view and my idea about remote working and all these things. Like so far now, I assume that digital marketing and digital platforms have like a future for like doing all these businesses and all this stuff. And as far as providing a platform like this, I think it's like one stop shop for like even for the investors and for the ones who want to do like get in contact with the investors and stuff like that. Even for like even the companies who wanted to like build some kind of projects, not for even for the individuals. It's just like I have seen like a huge like a thing, people coming from different industries to one platform. So I guess that it's a big idea, and it needed to be worked. Like we can add like as many things as we want. So yeah, that's a good thing.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I think we come at the end of this session. Thanks for your time. I see a lot of people had to jump into other calls, maybe on other duties.
Yeah.
I looked at the chat as well. You provided a lot of links and information for people as well to get to know more things about your speeches. And then I'm sure that Dimitri will keep you informed about the next steps, whether, you know, how the event will take place as a continuous activity, and then how the progress is being done on the building the community around DAO. So I wish you a really great weekend, and thank you a lot for your time and for your very interesting speeches. And I'm looking forward to connect very soon as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.